he has a thing called the Preacher Boys podcast, where basically his whole mission, his whole life is about exposing abuse within the IFB and kids and everything like that. And this guy, basically, as the years go on, has just gotten more liberal, more liberal, more liberal. He's former IFB. He was an IFB, I think he was a fundamental Baptist like less than 10 years ago. And he's recently just gotten more liberal and more liberal and more liberal as time goes on. And people just keep on, he keeps on hearing all these stories of cover-ups and everything like that. And, don't act like what I'm saying is just excusing that stuff. I don't really think anybody feels like that stuff is okay unless you're just a sick pervert and you want to cover stuff up and, whatever. We don't stand for that stuff here. I think that's been very clear. But this guy recently, I think it was just a couple days ago, I didn't even have this planned to talk about this. I already had the sermon ready, but basically just came out. The guy was an independent fundamental Baptist less than 7 years ago, I think, and just said that he's an atheist today. And the reason he's an atheist is because Christians are bad. And that, every time he looks at these situations and he sees these churches and everything to do with it, that they just end up being bad. And that there's all this bad fruit and there's all these cover-ups, and he just can't understand, if the gospel's so transformative, why there's all these things happening. And, there's two perfectly good explanations for that. Number one, there's going to be tares among the wheat. You're going to have things like that was literally promised. You see stuff like this happen, it should upset you and it should irritate you, but it should also strengthen your faith and that you know that the Bible's true and Jesus said there will be tares among the wheat. Okay, but second of all, our faith isn't about what other people do. Our faith is about Jesus Christ. We can't just sit back and look at church and everything like this and then expect that everything's going to be okay. And, pretty much everybody initially that you talk to at face value, they'll say the reason they want a world without religion is just because of all the bad that religion's done and all the harm that religion's done and all the fighting and all these other things. And just if we didn't have any of it, everything would all be better. So you think that a world with backbiters, haters of God, every single thing listed in Romans chapter number 1 would be a better place than a world with a church full of people that the two commandments they should be focused on more than anything is loving God with all their heart and loving thy neighbor as themselves? Right. You think that the world will be better with people like that gone and these freaks that you see marching up and down the street on a monthly basis demanding to kill their own kids? You think that our world would be better with all of the horrible people that are in our, public offices today, all of the horrible people that are forcing all of this garbage on just normal citizens just trying to mind their own business? You think the world would be better with that than Christians that follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, that follow a God that loved the world so much that he gave himself for it?